And welcome back to you all. It's a joy to have you all registered and watching the series again. My name is Ken Hughes. For those of you who don't know me, maybe this is one of your first sessions. I'm a consumer behaviorist, fascinated by the science and the psychology of consumerism, and I'm delighted to be hosting this series for the Global DIY Summit, which of course is on very, very soon in Berlin. You need to register as soon as you can. It's going to be probably the biggest event ever in the history of the DIY Global Summit. So please do get your registrations in. 10th of March is the end of early bird registration. So if today you are watching this and it's been on your list for a while, of course, to buy a ticket, I would advise you to get in today before the end of early bird registration. Ticket prices finish. So today we're going to talk to an executive in ManoMano. I mean, the history, the landscape of consumerism in general has been changing, of course, for the last 10 to 15 years. The digital transformation journey that we've all been on has been fantastical. The pandemic accelerated a significant amount of how we buy as consumers and how we expect digital interaction to go, how the digital funnel, how we live in a digital first world. And it's a fascinating space, and the DIY industry maybe was shaken by the shoulders a little bit in terms of its presence digitally. And so I think it's a fascinating conversation to have, always to talk to retailers and also to brands, of course, on their digital journey. So I'm delighted to be joined today by the head of brand for ManoMano, a brand I'm sure you all know, Adrien Boulet. Adrien, turn on your camera there and join us on screen. How are you today?
Hello, everyone. I'm fine, thank you again.
Good.
Nice to be here.
Where are you dialing in from this morning?
From Paris. So we are located in Paris, but we are also offices in Barcelona and Bordeaux in France.
You're slowly taking over the world. We can't assume, I mean, obviously I'm assuming most people do know the ManoMano brand in this industry. Of course they do, but maybe there are some people on the call that are outside the industry or joining us for the first time. Tell us in 30 seconds or a minute, ManoMano, what's that about?
Yeah, so ManoMano is a leading marketplace in DIY and home improvement industry. So we are present in 5 countries, France, Italy, Spain, UK, and Germany. And we are 100% marketplace, meaning what we provide the most important section to a DIY customer, but we do not buy the product. We just are 100% business marketplace. And we do have 5 marketplace in B2C, but also 5 marketplace in B2B. So we address also professional consumer.
Okay. And growth, I mean, you've been growing year on year, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. We still grow by 2-digit. So we reached 1.2 billion euros in 2020 after the pandemic and during the pandemic, but we're still growing by 2-digit in 2021 and 2022. And we still have a same ambition for the next couple of years. So yeah, exciting year, exciting time for us.
Yeah, and those figures are amazing because you expect that during the pandemic, of course, but to see those double-digit growth afterwards, it just gives away the reality that things are changing and the way people buy is changing. Okay, look, you're going to give us a presentation. So the format today is the same as always. If you're a regular viewer, you will know it's a question panel over here. So please do write some questions for Adrien as he does his presentation, and I will ask them all afterwards. So keep the questions coming and we'll have a good discussion after. But listen, I'm going to give you the screen for 20-25 minutes to do a slide share and a presentation, and we will chat afterwards.
Okay,
go for it.
So can everyone see the screen?
Yes.
Yes, perfect. So I will try to be as sharp as possible because 20 minutes is quite really not so much to speak about ManoMano and the global industry, but let me know if you have any question. I will start by key facts for me that are really interesting for the DIY industry. There is way more fact we can insist on, but I choose 3 or 4 of them. And then I will just briefly have a global overview of ManoMano. Just a few words about the demand across Europe on the DIY industry. So this is based on people requesting home improvement and garden keywords on Google, for example. So we can see that the 2022 years were a bit decreasing globally during Q1 and Q2 because we still overlap a very strong year in 2021. But we are DIY industry is really, really resilient, and we do have higher year-on-year growth starting Q3 and Q4. So it really shows that even if we are still in overlapping the COVID crisis, etc., we are still growing Q3 and Q4 in the market, and market is still growing and demand is still growing online. So it really shows the importance for me to be present and to understand how it works on the e-commerce industry. If we go on the right side of the presentation, we do have the growth, the year-on-year growth by category. So as you can see, there is given the situation we have on the macroeconomy, a strong demand on heating and plumbing. So heating and plumbing is more based on heating here. So energy renovation and energy topic, energy renovation product are really booming, of course, starting Q3, but it's still increased a lot. So for example, at ManoMano, we do have a huge demand on solar panel, on all the heating product, on all the new solution for energy renovation. So it's really amazing to see the impact on the macroeconomy here. But still the other category are also growing year on year, starting Q3 and Q4. And the demand, even if we overlap a strong period, still growing also on the digital world. So we do have a market that is really resilient compared to other type of markets such as electronics or fashion, for example. We are really more growing than those type of market in e-commerce. So this is first fact to have in mind for 2022. Then I would like just to insist on one thing about digital demand and who are today the DIYers. I think I saw this one on a global DIY summit. So the DIYers are more likely to be millennials or Gen Z generation. And it's really interesting to see the behavior of these millennials or Gen Z on e-commerce. Today, 48% of Gen Z realize more than 50% of their purchase online. So today we have a penetration rate on e-commerce and DIY approximately at 15%. So it really shows the importance in the next coming year. The e-commerce will boom and will take over a really strong place on the business. And I think it's not, of course, the COVID will have a great impact on e-commerce boom, etc. But it will still continue to grow on share of business due to the new behavior of those generation. The really important thing to have also in mind is that having a presence online doesn't mean that people will buy online, and 60% of those will check online product when they buy offline. So it's not just only be online to sell online, but it's be online and be visible to be sure you will be buy offline too. And then the last thing I want to mention, so of course e-commerce is a really positive, have a really positive vision for Gen Z, so it will increase more and more the adoption of this channel, of course, but also 63% of Gen Z and millennials bought second-hand product. So it also shows a trend that those generations don't want only new product, but also search for alternative. And second-hand products is really booming everywhere. We saw it on fashion, for example, but even in DIY, it's booming, and we will see it. Why also? Because more and more the demand is on sustainable product and transparency. I think there is a really interesting study from Business of Sustainability Index in the US. So those figures before were from the report from FEVAD, the e-commerce association in France. But here in the US, for example, you have 80% of young customers that are willing to pay more for sustainable product versus non-sustainable product. But I think the more important thing, because we know that people want to have more sustainable product, but 78% of those customers don't know how to identify those kind of product. So it's really important for retailer and brands to start working together to showcase how we can show the consumer which product have a better impact on sustainability, and we'll see how to do it. But the first thing is data and collaboration, because most of the time we do have already some sustainable product online, but we still don't have the data to showcase to the consumer and to help them on their choice. So, for example, on this part, I think this is really key on the next couple of months to really strengthen the partnership on data sharing collaboration, and we will review how we do it at ManoMano. We have 4 different pillars, I will say, on sustainability. First thing in energy and renovation product. So energy and renovation product is one of the key things given the context, but we want to push this offer, of course, by pushing products that are sustainable and make the consumer to have more responsibility on their energy. But we also push services to simulate all the money you can get from government, for example, or partnership with some service provider. So this is one of the key things. Second life product is also the second thing, where we launched the second life product on ManoMano some weeks ago now, and we are really surprised about the launch, because it was really a soft launch, and now we really understand that consumer wants to have the choice and choose those kind of product. Pretty sure you saw the news, but we are launching also the carbon score on ManoMano, and will be the first marketplace to launch the carbon score on each product. So to help the consumer to identify what product with what impact on the planet, on the so-called carbon score. But for all of those initiatives we want to push, we need much more data from you guys, and this is the initiative we are doing right now, is really collaborate with data provider, with brands, or with manufacturer, get those data from you, and to really help the consumer to do a better choices. I think I already showed this slide 2 years ago or 1 year ago, but the global environment in 2022 show that it's really important to understand that the marketplace and the e-commerce business model is also changing. So you have 2 kind of globally, you can create your own e-commerce website, but marketplaces are one of the business models that is growing most. So marketplace, for those who don't know, are websites that we don't buy the product, but we take a commission on each sales. But it allows us to be much more to have much more selection online, and I will go back a bit more on the advantage for retailers and brands to sell on marketplaces. But it's already 70% of the business today of e-commerce. It includes all the e-commerce, meaning booking for hotels. So Airbnb is a marketplace today. So, and we can see that in the DIY sector, 8 years ago, ManoMano launched a purely marketplace at European level, and then all the retailers in the sector are working on marketplaces or are thinking about marketplaces. And we can see that a lot of our competitors today, given the fact that we have a success story here at ManoMano, but also it's a lot of advantages for them. It allows the retailer to have much more selection, to provide more choice to the consumer, but also to financially, they cannot buy millions of products. So it can allow retailer to propose all the selection for consumer, and we saw they are now working, so consumer are now trying to have more and more choice to be sure of their impact on the planet. So yeah, definitely the business model marketplace in the DIY is a reality, and you can see and all our competitors are launching their marketplace. I won't say move to this way, but definitely this is something that are booming, and it has a lot of impact for brands that you need to take into account. And it's also related to the boom of e-commerce and the boom of sustainable demand that we are seeing. And I will be a bit more explicative on this. So what implication you have for brands given the e-commerce boom, given the sustainable demand, and given the rise of marketplace? The first thing, and I think this is a basic, but a lot of partner I'm working with are still not very aware of this. It's you need to own your content, meaning it's not a question to be on marketplace or not. You are already on marketplace. Your distributor are on marketplace. Your brand are on marketplace, not directly, but your brand is. So you need to take the control on the content that is provided to the consumer to make sure you have the right information, and it's linked to the sustainable data we need to provide to the consumer, but also it's linked of course for the people that are buying offline. They need to have the full detail of the content, and sometimes the distributor that sell on marketplace don't have the full pictures, the full content, the full video, and it's really important for you brands to make sure that you will showcase the most beautiful content for the consumer. And it doesn't mean that you will need to sell directly on marketplace yet, but at least you can rework the content with us, with ManoMano, to be sure that the content is unique for your product and is the best one. So this is the first thing, very basic, but we are still far from what we want to do and we want to show to the consumer. Second thing is that control your listing, because today the key advantage for marketplaces is to add all the listing and all the selection of products you want. We don't have any blocker to add millions and thousands of products of your brands, when in a DIY retail store, for example, you are limited in a very few SKU because of the place they have, of course. And it's not the case in the marketplace. So you can show all your selection to the consumer, and you need to. And the good thing also is that the agility you have, because in one click you can create a product and put it online. It's not exactly the same in a retail store. So to launch a product, to make sure all the needs are covered, it's really, really important that you will control your listing and make sure that all your products are online with the good content. And the last thing, this is the first step for me, and the last thing as the first step is make your brand visible, because yes, in the marketplace we have millions of products. So when the consumer search for a drill, for example, you need to show your brand, so you need to optimize your content that will affect your position, but you need also to use all the retail media networks, so sponsor product, buying visibility on the website, to make sure that the brand is visible on one of the key website, because marketplace are really strong in terms of number of unique visitors. So it's really important to control and to make your brand visible on marketplace to ensure the visibility. Why also? Because there is also much more competition on marketplace. In a retail store, you have 4, 3, 5 brands in the same category, but in marketplace you have thousands of brands, for example, and new type of brands also. So digital native brands, cross-border brands. So really important to be sure that you have the right places in the marketplace and to control your visibility. So for me, this is the first 3 things you need to take into account, given the change of behavior of consumer we just saw. And then today you need to have a direct to consumer strategy. So D2C, direct to consumer, will be the future for several type of channel. Tomorrow, social commerce will be direct to consumer. To marketplace, it's a direct to consumer. The retailer tomorrow will also ask you to be able to deliver, and so that is the case, to deliver the final consumer. So you need to ensure that you understand how to launch your direct to consumer strategy, how to operate with marketplaces, and also how you can work with services that provide marketplace. So the fulfillment from marketplace is very, very useful when you are not ready to create delivery to final consumer. Use the service from marketplace. It's really a boost in your sales. So this is, I guess all the brands have this in mind, but it's really pop up right now with the rise of marketplaces in B2C, but also in B2B. And it's linked to the second one, so the change management. For me, one of the key blocker of brands on direct to consumer and marketplaces is the change management internally. It's not even externally, because as all the retailers launch their marketplace, it will happen that you will need to launch this. The main blocker is internal sometimes. Yes, it's a change of process, it's a change of business model, it's a change of accounting, but this is really key to understand what you should implement. So in your warehouse, in your finance team, in your logistics team. So it's really important to make the change happen, because sometimes it's a key blocker, and most of the time when I meet some CEOs of big brands, this is the main challenge there. So you need to start right now, and we can help you on this doing workshop. And the role of my team at ManoMano is to help brands to understand what will be the key change to take to launch their direct to consumer strategy, and we are able also here also to help. And then, of course, it will be the pricing strategy, because you will sell directly to the end consumer. And yes, it will have a huge impact on pricing strategy. Selling at recommended retail price when all the market is not at this price won't work. So you need to refine and to understand how pricing works on marketplaces. It has to be dynamic, but it's one of the also key switch on the strategy you need to take into account to be sure it will work tomorrow. So of course there is several other things that you need to make. It's I think a big change for brands to understand and to launch a marketplace, but it will be definitely key for the future. We are in the markets that are growing, marketplaces are growing, and to make sure you will keep your market share to compare to a new type of brands, it will be key to make this change happen, and understand a bit more how you can switch from a B2B retail B2B business model from a D2C business model. If I go, I hope I'm not too late, Ken, but if I go quickly on the how we see the change at ManoMano and what will be our pillars for the next few months. So first, I will go through very quickly on this slide, but we are present in 5 countries, so we are the most important European marketplace and DIY today. And we do have 2 different websites, ManoMano Classic One and for all the consumers, and ManoMano Pro, dedicated for professional buyers. So you need to connect yourself with your professional ID to access to the product. Hyper growth, of course. We are still growing by 2 digits. I already said this in production, and we really want to focus and to continue to grow. Last thing is that I will go directly to this slide. So we are a home improvement specialized, and so we won't open new category to be a generalist. We want to really focus on DIY. This is the first thing to understand. And the second thing is we are selective. We don't allow everyone to sell on ManoMano, and we really select the partner we want to work with. And of course, manufacturer brands are for us key partner that we want to develop the relation with. So double-digit growth, of course, but triple-digit growth on B2B, so ManoMano Pro website. We launched UK and Germany, so definitely the marketplace and the DIY professional sector will be the main key driver of growth in the sector. So don't hesitate to reach us if you want to address professional buyer here. And the last thing maybe for 2023, and I will focus only on the 3 last ones. So I talk about the D2C strategy, and the main topic that is really important for brands is logistics. And sometimes they think they cannot do logistics for final consumer. We do have services to allow you to deliver the final consumer, and it's key for you to understand how it works and how it can be integrated in your business model. Very strong investment from ManoMano, but very strong result also for brands that choose our fulfillment. So really interesting to study how it works, and we can help you on this. Of course, we'll accelerate on B2B, already said this. And yes, sustainability is one of the biggest challenge and value we have at ManoMano, of course. And we work really proudly on this one, launching all the things that I just mentioned before with the energy renovation product, with the second life product, with the carbon score. But it's really now in the core value of ManoMano to be sure that to showcase the most important, the most sustainable product to the consumer and let them choose what they want here. I hope I won't be too long, Ken. So very fast presentation, very quick presentation, and the idea for me is much more to interact with you on this topic, and if I can help, with pleasure. I just finish here. Let me know if you have any questions from the audience, Ken. I'm happy to interact.
Excellent. Thank you very, very much. I mean, it's looking at that last growth slide, kind of wish I'd invested. I mean, like it's a significant move for the last 9 years. It's spectacular, you know. Listen, loads of questions. And by the way, if you've been watching and you've been holding off on a question, now is the time to pop it into the thread. First question, and you actually just touched on it in one of your last slides on the ManoMano Pro side of things. So a question from Michael about, you know, the Pro customers are famously not really digitally driven. And is it the mission of ManoMano Pro to attract that younger generation coming into the Pro market, or to target the current pros? Like which way do you go? Do you try and make sure that obviously that any new pros coming in are already that digital generation? So that's fine. What do we do with the current pro, you know, the 40, the 50-year-old who maybe isn't as digitally driven? How do we crack that?
Yeah, no, I think the it's not only the Gen Z that are buying on ManoMano Pro today. So our core audience for ManoMano Pro is multi-specialist, DIY professional, of course, but it's not a huge company. We target more the company between 1 and 5 employees, and those one do not have time to switch on go to a retail store, go to their work, etc. So they spend 30% of their job is in their car. So our job is to make their life easier, and that's why we launched the application for ManoMano Pro. And today our buyers are not only digital native; they are also professional buyer, all professional buyer. But it's much more convenient for them to have access directly to the application, and in on a few seconds they buy on ManoMano Pro, and they will be delivered on their directly on their work. And we build this application, ManoMano Pro, with DIY professional buyer, meaning that all the UX is different from the classic ManoMano one, and it's really adapted to everyone and really easy. And that's why also it's working. We have three digit growth on ManoMano Pro, and it's not only driven by new generation. So I guess we already addressed this, and it will definitely grow in the future, given the. But we are disruptive in this category, I think, of our buyer, definitely.
Yeah, that's fair enough. You opened quite strongly on the sustainability piece, that slide you showed, you know, 80% of people, and I'm always interested, 80% of people say that sustainability is important, and they say it, but you know, will they actually follow through on purchasing? Jonathan had a good question, you know, so with all that growth and demand of sustainability, and clearly there is a value shift and a demand for it, is ManoMano, are you yourself doing anything? You talked about the collaboration maybe between retailers and brands to make it, to start heroing the sustainable products. Are you currently doing anything to make those products stand out in the marketplace?
So if I understand well, do we push those products more than the others?
Well, do you showcase them is there any way on your current platform that you make it clear? Because one of the points you said was that, you know, 80% of people want sustainable, but 78% of people don't know what is what. So are you currently having any initiative to show?
Yeah, so there is several initiatives. So the first one is we created in the homepage of ManoMano a dedicated section on energy renovation. So this is the first part, and we want to showcase and to highlight this category, and it's working very well in terms of growth of traffic. So first thing is to really showcase on the traffic, but also in each detail page now, you will have automatically where does it come from? Is it a sustainable product with a eco label, etc.? So yes, in any product, when we have the information, and I will insist on this, when we do have the information of the origin of the labeling, etc., it will automatically be showcased, and you can go on the product on ManoMano, and you will have those filter on sustainability, on labeling, on certification. The only limitation we have, and we will have also the carbon score, and the carbon score same will be applicable for each product, whatever the category in the future. So we'll start with a few categories to in April, of course, but definitely it will be on the ambition is to cover all the catalog. What we need to be sure that it will be relevant and live for every product is to collect the data, and that's why we need to be more collaborative and to get more of those information, because most of the time we lack 1, 2, 3 touch point, and this is the job we are currently doing with brands to collect this data and show and highlight it on all the product. And I will say even more, we will push also in terms of visibility all those products. We do have specific menu on the website, but we will also push them into several push and promotion period, etc., dedicated for those products. So yes, I think we are really advanced in this stage, and we show exactly what we want to show, and we are working very well on this topic.
Okay, and that's interesting. You say that that hero area and the homepage already has growth, so that clearly people are interested in that element.
Definitely.
Do you? Rainer asks two-part question, but I'll ask you the first part first. Do you, in the 5 markets you're working in, have you seen any difference in the sensitivity of customer sustainability? So UK, France, Germany, Italy. Is there any difference between the markets in terms of those clicks? Like, is there evidence that one country is more interested in sustainability than another?
Yeah. So we started with France, first of all. So I don't have the full overview of the other countries. What we can see is that, of course, the made in France is really appreciated. It's not exactly the same in the other country. There are, so we have in France a lot of I would say made in France initiative, etc. So it's quite very good, and we also see that there is a real interest in France. I don't think in the other country, I don't have the full data yet, because the initiative started with France. So as soon as we have launched all the initiative on all the countries, yes, definitely we can share those data with pleasure.
Yeah,
I don't have it right now.
Because it's a very interesting point, because obviously we all have perceptions that some cultures have this better, but is this a common global shift in values, or is it still a localized understanding of sustainability? And the second part of Rainer's question was interesting. We haven't spoken about it today, and I don't know ManoMano's position on it. Second life products.
Yes.
So where do you stand on second life product retailing?
So we launched the Second Life product initiative in December, if I remember well. So it's live already. It's live already in France on ManoMano, and it was a soft launch because I think it's important to start addressing this demand from consumers. So it's over the expectation in terms of demand and traffic, but we still lack a bit of selection, definitely, because same as a marketplace, we also depend on brands. So we work very, very well with key partners to get all the Second Life product, etc. So we do have already a selection, and I think a strong selection on second-hand product, and the results are really, really exciting. And now we are working more and more with all the partners to get more of this selection. And this is one of the key things for brands, is to how to address those Second Life products tomorrow, because what we need now is to have more product available on a Second Life certified product. So definitely already live on ManoMano. We are launching the initiative, and if you want to sell Second Life product on ManoMano, don't hesitate to contact me. And brands and big manufacturers that I've just met, of course, they are working on it, but the full selection are not ready yet. But we are definitely also we are really exciting on the first result. Yeah.
Okay. And I suppose in terms of development as you grow, and this is a really obvious question that everyone asks a digital pure play. Idra wants to know: are you planning any physical store openings?
Never say never, but no, it's not planned yet.
Okay.
We are a 100% marketplace. So for now, we are not buyer, we are not retailer for now. And we want to focus on developing our core business on our countries for now. So It's not planned yet, but never say never.
Okay, we never. Yeah, it's a weird world we live in. The question here from Peter starts off with the fashion industry. So in the fashion industry, particularly at the moment, some retailers have begun to start charging customers for returns. As it becomes a more complex issue. Are returns of goods a point of contention with ManoMano?
So the returns are managed by our seller. So as we don't buy the product, all the returns, it's your choice to charge the seller or to charge the consumer or not. Of course, we do have all the benchmarks that when you have returns that needs to be paid by the consumer, yes, it's a bit disappointing for the consumer. And fashion industry, it's a bit more different because the habits are a bit different. When you buy 6, 7 of the same product and try it and return it back, cost a lot of things. So we do have less return in DIY industries than fashion. So definitely it's not the same impact, but it will be the choice of the seller on ManoMano. So a brand that sell on ManoMano will decide if they want to offer the return or give it for free. But yes, the benchmark in our industry is to give it for free, depending, of course, of the type of product. But yes, it's a key benchmark to have.
Okay. And you had mentioned data earlier on when you were talking about sustainability and the need for the brand to provide you with all the sustainability data to be able to, to communicate this to your customer. In terms of data, how much customer data do brands get through your interface? So how much, Romina wants to know, how much obviously you have a lot of data. Do you share that with the brands with whom you work?
Yes, we are quite transparent. So legally speaking, we cannot give all the sales from a dedicated seller to a brand, for example, but we are transparent on what is the business on a brand on ManoMano, in which platform, how it grows. So depending on the partnership we have, yes, we can share data, and I think we are keen to close, be much more closer on this with brands that are okay to partner with us. Definitely, this is something we are much more transparent on than other retailers. Because we are also more data driven than a lot of other retailers. So we do have a lot of data available on sustainability, but also on performances, cross-selling, rating and reviews content. So of course, we can partner with brands on this, and this is the role of my team.
Okay, and there's a great question here. There's no name on it, but no, there's Guilami. Most of many retailers in various industries, including DIY, are developing their own sustainability indexes.
Yes.
So when they go to market, they're saying this is this. Are you launching that same kind of index yourself, or are you going to wait for some EU legislation to come along and to give us a standard one?
So currently there is no EU classic index that we can have for food. So we do have already announced that we will launch our carbon score, and it's a ManoMano 1, and we will communicate on it in April to be sure that everyone understands how it works. If it's we want to be it has to be a standard for retailers. So yes, we are happy to work on this one, and if our carbon score could be the standard one, no problem. We are partnering with a key sustainable consulting company on it, so happy to work on it and to give more detail on it. But definitely, this is a carbon score dedicated for ManoMano. If tomorrow there is opportunity, yes, we can share.
Okay. And last question, because we're running out of time, and thank you for everyone to submitting all your questions. Chris wants to know what next. What country does ManoMano have their eyes on next, or if you don't even, what country would you like to add?
So for now, we just want to focus on we have 6 countries, including Belgium. But for now, we want to focus on those 5 countries because we have way more business to take, especially internationally. So France is the biggest market, but in Germany, in UK, and Spain and Italy, there is way business to take. So definitely, we'll still. It's not planned to open a new country yet. Same. Okay. Never say never. Opportunity makes the business, but for now we want to focus on the 5 countries. So 6 countries, including Belgium.
Develop deeper connections where you are, as opposed
to more
scale. Okay, good,
Exactly.
good. Listen, thank you so much for answering all the questions, Adrian. It was a pleasure to have you. Again, the ManoMano story is an amazing success. And again, as I said, just shows that the digitization of society and great, you touched on a few great things there about collaboration between retailers and brands for the future of sustainability also. So listen, thank you so much for your time. Really, really appreciate it.
Thank you again.
For joining us.
Thank you for the invitation.
Not all. Hopefully we'll see you again soon. Listen, for me, that was a really, really interesting webinar. The next one, by the way, for those of you who follow the series, and let's face it, that's all of you, is on March 3rd. So only a few weeks away at 12 o'clock, slightly later. I know we're coming in a bit earlier today. And that's the summary of the global home improvement industry 2022. So all that data, and I know this is one of the most excited kind of watched ones every year, because we do all want to see all the figures from last year and what exactly happened. And so please do put that in your diary, March 3rd, 12 o'clock, because that is one that you probably maybe even going to want to watch live as opposed to on demand to get that data as soon as you can. So Rainer and Michael are going to bring us through all that on March 3rd. So please do join us for that. I'm really looking forward to it. The second thing, and there's three things I want to finish with. The second one is, of course, to make sure you are registered. We are nearing registration capacity, I think, for this event. There is eventually a ceiling that we can't go above. It's going to be, as I said, the biggest global DIY summit ever on the 14th to the 16th of June in Berlin. So please do, if you have not registered yet, or if maybe some of your team have said, oh yeah, I think I might come with you this year, make sure you remind them to do that very, very soon before we actually run out of places. And so that early bird registration is there until the 10th of March. So please do that today if you want. The last thing I want to talk about is something topical. Just to close off today, we are all in the DIY industry. We are all responsible for renovating, rebuilding, and bringing joy to people's homes, security, belonging. Right now, what's happening in Turkey and Syria is, I guess, horrific. People have not only lost their lives, their homes, their livelihoods, and it's a very scary time for everybody. We are here on this call, the show this morning, quite a privileged people. We live in the first world. We are all secure right now as we speak. As I speak to you live, I have enough water, I have enough food. My family are safe and secure, as I'm sure all of yours are. So today I will be donating my fee for the Global DIY Summit to Médecins Sans Frontières, Doctors Without Borders, for all the work they are doing. Inyaki's going to put that link in the chat now, and I would invite you all, because we all do this all the time. We watch stuff on our social media feeds, we watch stuff on news and TV, we open the paper, we read articles, and we think, oh my God, that's awful. But we actually rarely step over the line and do something about it. If you were on the ground right now, you would be there with your sleeves rolled up and you would be helping physically. You're not there, you're here. But of course, in the DIY industry, maybe we have a responsibility from a sustainability point of view, but also for community. And this webinar is all about community. We join together all the time and discuss and debate. So maybe today we can actually make a difference as that community. If everybody on this call today clicks that link in the chat, or maybe you'll email the link out afterwards to people and donated a few €100 to that cause, we can make a difference in the other side of the world today. My name is Ken Hughes. I've really enjoyed, again, hosting today. I look forward to March 3rd to hear what Rainer and Michael say about the global industry for last year. And I will be seeing you, of course, in June in Berlin at the Global DIY Summit 2023. Until then, goodbye.